I don't know where to start, so I'll start at the beginning. Pa was a farmer when Jimmy and I were growing up. We lived out in Oklahoma, and we'd sit out front listening to Pa's stories about how the grass grew taller than his head when he first started farming. He'd tell how every year the rain followed the plow, and the crops grew tall and strong. And then, one year, the rains didn't come and the harvest failed. The next year, Pa took to the plow and cut through the packed dirt, getting ready for the rains. But again, the rain didn't come, and it didn't come the year after or the year after that. And then the winds came blowing from the west. They blew in fast and stole the soil and carried it off, and they took Pa's living with him. We moved from the farms to the city, and Pa found what work he could, but there were millions of Okies like us, and never enough work to go around. In '33, FDR arrived in Washington, promising a new deal to get people back to work. But by the end of the '30s, there were more dark clouds on the horizon. Over in Europe, the German people had been promised they were different, that they were the chosen race, and it was their time. Back home, there were suddenly jobs to be had. Jobs in factories, jobs in the Navy, jobs in the Army, and jobs in the Air Force. Jimmy and I signed up for the Navy, me as a pilot, Jimmy as a Marine. Before I knew it, I had a job and a wife and a family on the way. After flight training, we were assigned to a squadron on Pearl Harbor, half a world away from home. The world around us was in turmoil. There was war in Europe, there was war in the Pacific. We stayed isolated and safe and happy. It's not our war, they said. We didn't start it, and besides, we've got our own problems. It wasn't our war when Poland was torn apart by the Germans and the commies. It wasn't our war when the Japs rolled into China. It wasn't our war when the Germans smashed through Norway, Denmark, and Belgium, and marched down the Champs-Élysées in Paris. In '41, things kept getting worse in the Pacific. The Japs wouldn't budge from China, so we cut off their supplies of oil. Without oil, the Japs were doomed, so they did what anyone would do, and carefully and methodically planned for war. On the 7th of December 1941, the Japanese fleet launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor.